is when thousands and thousands and thousands of people suddenly become aware of their need for God. And for those of us that have been in faith most of our life, I was raised in the church. A lot of times there is this uphill battle and trying to reach out and persuade people, hey, you need the Lord, you need to be in church, you need to, accept Christ as your savior. We're constantly trying to make people aware of their spiritual need. The challenge is that we're a nation of prosperity. Christ talked about this frequently about, it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. And again, you don't want to get hung up on the details of that. The point is that when people are in a state of prosperity and don't need anything, it's really hard to convince them that, yeah, you may have all your physical needs met, but your spiritual needs are still there. This social mindset, and as we become an increasingly secular society, has led folks to believing that they can get by without Christ, right? I'm comfortable. I've got all my bills paid. Why do I need faith and religion? Um, I think this last week, a lot of people came to grips, including myself, with the fact that, wow, there really is an important spiritual component of our lives. And there's all sorts of really great analysis about why this is happening. But I think that today, for the first time, folks are going to be seeking out a church. I wanted to just I really just felt like it would be appropriate for me to share a little bit about my background, because what's likely going to happen is that it's going to flare up like lighter fluid, but then folks are going to begin to realize, like, hey, there's a lot more to being, spiritual and being in faith than just going to church and putting money in the offering plate. For context, I was raised in the church. I, at some point, I won't go into the details. I'll just say prior to this point, I have experienced what has been known as church hurt, right? Some sort of negative experience directly associated with the conduct and practices of a church. And I experienced that, and it took me down a very, very dark path. I never openly backslid, right? I've always went to church, always stayed involved, but there was a lot going on in my heart, a lot of stuff that I was sorting through. Over the past couple of years, the Lord has been working carefully through me and bringing me back to a place where, I need to be, where I do feel spiritually enriched. And honestly, this last week was a huge milestone as part of that. I'm telling you all of this to say that you don't just instantly become spiritual. You don't instantly, get into this. It's a process, and it's a slow process. And fortunately, God is a patient God. He will slowly work through you in the different things that need to be fixed. You don't have to be perfect or fix your life before going to church. This is just a reminder, you go and the word will take care of the rest.